I found myself struck by a crazy idea: instant coffee martini. I'm looking forward to trying this. This might be a lot better than I worried it might be. I don't know why it shouldn't work. It might take a lot of tweaking to get it just right. But if you think about it, an espresso martini isn't really anything more than two kinds of coffee, or two sources of coffee flavor, espresso and Kahlua, and sweetness and alcohol. I just get rid of the Kahlua, I add the sweetness, we work around how much coffee flavor to add to it, and some vodka, bada bing, bada boom. How do you make this? Well, I started with a shaker, and I added 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup to it. Then I added 2.5 ounces of vodka. Normally just 2 ounces of vodka for an espresso martini, but I'm losing my Kahlua, and that's 20% ABV, so I wanted to compensate for that loss of alcohol volume. Then I added 4 bar spoons, heaping bar spoons of Maxwell House instant coffee. I believe that Maxwell House is good to the last drop. I dry shook that. I don't think it was necessary. Add some ice, shaked it up. I tested it with my spoon, and I thought it probably needed a little bit more sweetness, so I added 2 brown sugar cubes. Why those? I felt like it was missing some molasses notes, and I almost reached for a bottle of Demerara Rum, but I thought better of it because I'm trying to keep this drink as compact as possible, one spirit. So here it is, ready to taste, the instant espresso martini. Let's see how it is. I don't think this is going to be good, but I do think that there's a version of this that will be good, and it might just take a lot of workshopping. That is so much better than you would expect it to be. It has a really bitter finish, really bitter. I don't know if you can sweeten your way out of that. Maybe I used too much instant coffee, but there's promise here. There is no reason you couldn't make an espresso martini this way. I mean, already people make espresso martinis without espresso. They use cold brew concentrate in most recipes because it's a pain in the ass to do it with espresso, and because you really can't tell the difference. I think that the instant coffee espresso martini is right there. Man, if we could tweak this up and make this like on point, what a great thing to be able to just have some dry, permanently good, never go bad instant coffee in your bar cart and be like, oh, you want an espresso martini? No problem, got you covered. Let me try another sip. It's not bad. I do think it might just be undersweetened. I'm just gonna add another 1/2 ounce of simple, which we're getting into a lot of sweetness here, but Kahlua is really sweet. I mean, it's better described as a coffee chocolate syrup than a liqueur. Let's see. Dude, that's good. That's perfectly serviceable. There's absolutely no reason you couldn't serve that as an espresso martini. A little bit of tweakage. You might be able to get away with less instant coffee than what I used, but like, it's right there. It might be better with rum. You know what it kind of tastes like is you ever get the Starbucks double shot energy drink in the, at your local gas station? Kind of tastes like that, but alcoholic, which is kind of what an espresso martini tastes like. It's not bad at all. Perhaps better instant coffee would be better. Perhaps getting that balance just right would be better, but fuck, this is good. Like, this is good and could be great. No, it's good. I know what you want to see. You want to see me drink things that make me throw up, that make me sick. It's not happening. I don't know why. They're coming out good. Let's go to the next step here. Let's see if we can make an instant White Russian. Usually a White Russian you would stir, but I think in this case we want to shake it. And a White Russian is made with a little vodka and a little Kahlua. I think we're going to split this one. We're going to go with a little rum on this guy. Let's do 1 ounce of vodka. Let's do 1 ounce of a Demerara rum. The one that I had conveniently located was Eldorado 12, which is a lovely Demerara rum. Let's not be shy. Let's do 1 ounce of simple. Let's do 2 or 3 scoops of instant coffee. Yeah, 3. There you go. It actually smells fucking delicious. Coffee Mate. So normally you would add this to hot coffee and it'll instantly dissolve. I don't think that's gonna work here. I think we have to add this to our shaker because our drink is cold. Let's add a couple bar spoons of this. I don't know, let's just add a couple shakes. It's gotta, there you go. There you go. That's perfect. put this on a lovely ice cube. That has a really greenish character that I am not in love with. It just feels like something like you'd get in an MRE. That's funny. It does taste like a White Russian with a little bit more burn, a little bit more tang at the back of the throat. I gotta say, the one thing it's missing is like a creamy kind of texture. It does not have that, but otherwise it tastes like a White Russian. Like I feel pretty good about like reverse engineering the flavor profile of a White Russian. Tastes like coffee, tastes like sweetness, tastes a little bit like rum. It is mellow and kind of chocolatey. Could be chocolatey-er. It's a very approachable drink. It is not bad. Not bad at all. It's getting better too as it kind of like matures in the glass. I don't know how much that's showing up on camera, but this drink is a little bit green, and I did not expect that to be any good. The ounce of simple is correct. It's where the sweetness level for a White Russian should be. Less sweet would be bad. The one problem here is it's not really white. It's kind of, well, it's coffee colored. It's tan, isn't it? It looks like coffee that you added a little splash of milk to. I wonder if you could just add more of this coffee mate to it and make it better. Oh yeah, just put that right on top there. It's turning into a batter, kind of a cake or pancake batter. It does not want to dissolve. Now it's like curds. This was probably ill-advised. I can't imagine it's gonna taste significantly different, but here we go. That does change the flavor profile and brings it even closer to a White Russian. I think that it maybe when I shook it, I should have just added more creamer to it, because this is foul in texture and like just visually disgusting. But if I had shook it with, I think probably twice as much creamer. Yeah, even more so. Even more White Russian. That's like on the nose White Russian flavor. Really thought that was gonna be retch-inducing. Isn't. So that's the instant White Russian. You think there's like an instant Irish coffee? Probably. That might be the easiest one of all. Let's give that a shot. Kind of sacrilege. I really like an Irish coffee. I'm gonna start by adding 4 of these brown sugar cubes. And now I'm gonna add, I don't know, 1 scoop, maybe 2 scoops of our instant coffee. Let's call that 1.5 actually. Now I'm gonna add 2 ounces of Irish coffee, and I happen to have Powers, which is maybe my favorite sort of run-of-the-mill Irish coffee. And now I'm gonna add some hot water, just top it basically up. Give that a really thorough stir because I wanna make sure I dissolve everything that's in there. So usually you float some like heavy cream or milk across the top of an Irish coffee. I'm not allowed to use that today because we're going with the instant stuff. So I'm gonna take 1 ounce of this very lovely rum. Well, it looks like I'm going with 1.5 ounces. And now I'm gonna put like a few good sprinkles of coffee creamer in there, like that. That's a lot. What am I trying to make? Like creamy rum? And now I'm gonna dry shake the hell out of that. I mean, that's dissolved. Let's see if we can make it float partially. There you have it, instant Irish coffee. Let's see how she is. That was not so great. It's not super awful, but it's not so great. There is a, it's like a Play-Doh taste that shows up in there that I'm not in love with, and the texture is off. Irish coffee is usually pretty decadent with its like creamy sort of like, oh, just like deliciousness. But like the sweetness and the coffeeness and the whiskiness of it are all where you want them to be. Like that part's good. It's really just the attempt at making creamer into heavy cream that is awful. I feel like if you just did this with heavy cream, people would think that's great Irish coffee. Not a total loss, just skip the creamer and switch out from either heavy cream or milk. I think that either one of those would be a lot better. I don't think you actually lose anything by going to instant coffee. The instant coffee in this case, with that amount of brown sugar, with that amount of Powers Irish whiskey, that part of the drink tastes pretty spot on for Irish coffee. It's coffee, sweet, whiskey. You get the kind of nuttiness of the whiskey, and like they're all kind of working together really well. It's just missing the creamy component. Looking at that, I expected it to be horrible. It really wasn't. Honestly, it has a really lovely evolution and aftertaste. I like it a lot. And it leads me to my next question. Is there something semi-original I can do here? You know, back a couple of years ago, like during the pandemic, there was a fad of this thing, I think it came out of Korea, called Dalgona Coffee, which was made by whisking instant coffee, if I'm not mistaken, very vigorously, and then serving it with milk, a reverse latte. The coffee foam sort of sat on top of a milk base. I wonder if there's a cocktail that we can make like that. I did an episode on it many years ago because it was viral and I needed, you know, whatever, content. And I came up with something interesting using fresh coffee, but I didn't try it with instant coffee like you're supposed to make it. So now that I've got all the ingredients here, what the fuck? Let's try it with instant coffee. To do this, I'm going to use a ISI whipper or an icy whipper. This is going to help me get a nice foamy, creamy texture without having to do an hour of whisking. So let's start with 4 ounces of rum. Horrible waste of my very lovely El Dorado 12, but I'm gonna add like 3 ounces of simple syrup here. Just going off of instinct. I'm going to add 6, maybe even 8 scoops of instant coffee. And now I'm gonna add 4 ounces of hot water. Normally when you make a Dalgona coffee, there is a milk component in it, so let's add some coffee mate, and we will measure it this time for a change. 4. So half of the amount of coffee we added. I'm gonna put the lid on her, seal up my pressure chamber. I'm gonna shake it now. I'm gonna shake it to try and get everything starting to dissolve it as much as I can. So I'm gonna charge this up with nitrous. Okay. Give it a good shake. So this should, in theory, add a nice frothy, foamy quality here, especially if instant coffee lends itself to that. Add a second nitrous cartridge to it. Give it another shake. So hopefully, if we did this right, we should get, oh yeah. Look at that. Now we're getting to the real foamy bits at the end here. And you can really see those nitrogen bubbles working in there. So it's lost any notion of foaminess to it. So let's just see how it tastes. It's tasty. It's not bad at all. But texturally, it's not Dalgona coffee. So I might try again, but with some foam magic in there. This is from Modernist Pantry. I'll put a link in the pin count below and up here in the corner, or up here in the corner. You're supposed to use this 1 to 2% by weight of your total drink. This is really lightweight, so that translates to use a lot. I'm just gonna pour my drink back in here, and I'm gonna use a lot of foam magic. Let's put the lid back on the top, and whoops, add 1 cartridge. Give that a shake. And then we're gonna add another cartridge, increase the pressure. Give that a shake. And hopefully I did this right. And there it is, a thick foam. Pudding. And there you have a stable foam of a coffee cocktail. So I got a Dalgona thing. That's really tasty. You can now eat this with a spoon, if you so choose. It is so fluffy, like a meringue. No, not a meringue. Meringue is too thick. It's like some kind of a confection. Honestly, it's like a mousse. This is like a coffee alcohol mousse, and it is delicious. I feel like the presentation could be worked on, but it's very enjoyable. Tastes like coffee, like a sweetened coffee thing, like a frappuccino, if you will. It's got some kick to it. It's got some rum in there. It is well balanced, honestly, and it is kind of edible. Like the texture is really nice. It is thickened and creamy, yet light and airy, like a souffle of coffee. Phenomenal, not in its current form. It could be worked on. I just had all this stuff sitting around already from this episode, so I figured, why not? Let's give it a try. I'm hoping that like we get a silkier foam. There we go. That brighter color. No, but it loses it after a second, isn't it? Well, all the same. Fun stuff. Coffee mousse cocktail. Tasty. Well, I made an instant espresso martini, an instant white Russian, an instant Irish coffee, and an Dalgona frappuccini cocktail thing. Kind of all variations on a theme here. I had a lot of fun doing it. I was really surprised that all of these drinks worked out way better than I thought that they might. And if you've enjoyed the show, shoot me a like and subscribe. That really does matter. And here are 4 more episodes or playlists or somethings that I think you should know about if you've enjoyed the show so far, because there's been a lot of episodes of How to Drink that you may or may not have missed. Check them out. I will see you very soon with another episode of HTD. Good night. Good luck. I love you. Cheers. It just went down the wrong way. Went down the wrong pipe. Talk amongst yourselves.